Etiefo mema muni akwa eba Melodies TV so. Yeni abo ensembi so ewo Facebook enam Twitter. Nkofo bebre kasa. This morning CTFM fokra atre wo adwen ewo so. I think they've had a direct contact with the person and they've actually spoken about the particular issue. Ghana ni bia wo ya doctor. He's not a medical doctor, he's a doctor of books. Elmo Makosko nya doctorate honor and a doctorate degree no. Into your friend the doctor. Send ya yere a free mu ewa Rich Hospital due to a draw any kwansi ya demand yere wrong prescription. Aya de command yere. Amani yere free mu ya. Now, one thing, and I said this is not the first time our Rich Hospital yati BBC from them. Our yankasa ya platform so mobile kaya somewhere around last 2 months. Ghana ni bin so eba bontimbe blase Rich Hospital. Say on also sa ne maame e collapse ya ye den call Rich Hospital negligence and at so free mu. So obekaya just around last 2 weeks Ghana ni bin so won so wa broche sa was say ne wa faase. Ono ne dia nempo I think say it was Kolebu said yen. Was say Confanochi was Kolebu. I brought you that story and a lot of you guys even called me on that particular story. Now this one without wasting much time Mami reading semwa papa na ekan na me readi wi a bibia wo se metrasie na metrasie na yeni ayate ensem na se. See folks, last night I lost my wife at Rich Hospital. My wife checked in at the hospital Sunday evening. She had been due for surgery Monday morning. We agreed that I'll return to the hospital in the afternoon when she would have returned from the theater. That's how it happened. I returned to her. She narrated the experience to me. I stayed with her till 8 p.m. when the orderly came to ask me to leave. When I returned the next morning, my wife had taken a turn for the worse. She was sweating profusely and was in severe pain. The change was really dramatic. I asked her if the doctor had seen her. She said no, but the nurse had given her medication earlier on. She asked me to take her to the washroom. By this time, she was screaming in pain. I managed to sit her on the WC, but as she attempted to relieve herself, she suddenly went limp and crumbled onto the floor. She was unconscious. Now, the very first screenshot here, you take it. As someone walk and I said, Neyere or the Neyere call hospital na wakoye surgery, but everything was okay. Na Neyere wa wahonde ni bibia but wakoye surgery. And I was say one in Neyere ebewo hospital hosan, you know. At the sun, one be coffee, no wakohe nemba, na the next day waba. Inti sa NC wo coffee the next day waba and say Neyere ne condition one no ankasa de Neyere driving Neyere ba hospital hodo. Neyere ne condition aye worse. Neyere ne air sweaty. Just say, utumi unse o ya bimu ena Neyere no ekom. Ena Neyere ne kata ne say one boy na onko use the abuse no. Water closet no. But then Neyere no kwa onko use the abuse no na fe Neyere no kikim to the extent that Neyere no effoli unconscious. The pain was unbearable. Until Neyere effoli unconscious and or rashi ye ekofre a doctor for. But before that no, say ne wo be hu say Endra, me and me your situation wasn't like this. And then abano see you are turning worse. Again they see and an Neyere say a nurse be and a nurse ni be and the man drew. And obisa Neyere say Doctor ni bi ababe hu ana wo se dabi doctor bi eni ho a wa babe hu no. Let's go to the next slide. Or say I rushed out to seek help. A couple of nurses came in to help. She regained consciousness, but she was in a terrible shape. The next 1 hour was hell, as there was no doctor immediately available. After about an hour, the doctor arrived. He examined my wife and asked the nurse what medication had been administered. The nurse mentioned something I don't remember. The doctor asked if she was sure, and she said yes. The doctor then went through my wife's folder for a few minutes. But I didn't prescribe that, he said. My heart missed a beat. There was a back and forth between the doctor and the nurse, which attracted 2 other nurses. One of the new entrants said yes. The doctor didn't prescribe it, but another doctor did so later. The doctor said he was going to call him right now He walked out the room, followed by the nurses. I followed them into the lobby. The what can they say? Neyere were fully unconscious. WC ni so no. Na wakwa abonte ko free nurses for by na nurses for eba ya. Womo ye ya ma Neyere was also eba back to consciousness. Na ehɔ no maka say doctor ni bi eni hɔ nti about an hour. Womo twen say doctor beba be attend to Neyere no because she was in a terrible state. Now doctor by na doctor ni be hu say Neyere terrible state mu na doctor ni ka say how come edro be na moma no na nurse no ebodu edro ni din na doctor ni ka say but man ka say moma na edro we nti ade na obema na edro no nti no there was a back and forth akasa nurse ni ka na doctor naka nurse ni ka na doctor ni dey insist say me na me hwe no man ka say mo fa edro we man na ade na mokoma na edro we na nurse ba ko fie chi ba say ne doctor enya wo na wo ka say en fa edro we man but another doctor bi ene ka say yemfa ma no ntiana ya ye den ye de ama no no ena doctor yi e ka say okay wo be fresh our doctor no na wone no atwetwe nkomo nti now let's listen to asemo a doctor yi wo frɛ other doctor no e call so I see he picked the phone and called someone. From the conversation it was clear that the other doctor had promptly admitted to prescribing the drug. Folks, I swear by my father's grave that my wife's doctor said something like this. I can't believe you have done this again. This is the second time. This woman's case is similar to the other one, but you have done it again. Folks, at this point, I started feeling very cold. What happened next is the reason I am writing this. But for it, I would never share this on social media. As our doctor was scolding the other doctor, they, nurses, were laughing heartily. Even the doctor was scolding his colleague somehow jokingly. Yes, my wife lay dying and the nurses were laughing that the doctor had apparently prescribed the wrong medication for her. I was not angry. I was not mad. I was just cold. Very cold. Was a doctor ne ko abontia wo ko frɛ other doctor na o say onu de onim say other doctor na doctor na frɛ. But doctor ne frɛ nipa ko no wo hwɛ nkomo a ekoso a obehu ne say eye sa doctor no na no wone no twetwe nkomo. Na doctor no tia sa other doctor ne say ade na so koma na eduro we. Enye eduro we na wo say wo de man ne condition no eduro we na wo say wo de man no. Aden this is the second time wo doctor yi why this particular thing. Na wo say AC sa no. And nurses for am we chi no wo mo sre say doctor back on wabon woko dra one trade dropa. Meanwhile, the thing is killing the woman and you guys are laughing over it. Was it and yes, a nurses for the S3 doctor no crano as a word tiana down for the crano, it was in a jokingly manner. Nanko womba social media and betro a same way. Was it Nibuenfu? He was just cold to say what you want to say, wow, hospital. People say to me, see, medical doctors. So he was just cold. Was a lot happened subsequently as they tried to save her. They prescribed some drugs, which I bought. Then they prescribed some more drugs, which I bought. Then they prescribed more. Then they wanted a test done, which we did. And earlier, my sister-in-law, who had held the fort while I went to see the kids, had also been made to buy drugs. In the end, I was left alone with my wife. At 8 p.m., the orderly came to ask me to leave. I drove home filled with a huge feeling of emptiness. I could not sleep. I tossed around in bed the whole night. At around 4 a.m., I fell asleep. My sister-in-law was to take up the relay this morning. I was to go and reach my students and then return to replace her. We took turns taking care of my wife. My sister-in-law called me at 6 a.m., which is the visiting time at the hospital. I had overslept. Brother Ima, are you coming? The doctors want to see you immediately. I said, my sister-in-law, no. Because I say, I said, no, we will be a lecturer. I was also a womba. Inti wono ene ne wife ni nuaba na air shifty. Inti ebia enyumre ne wife ni nuaba beba betena because ne wife ni situation inti ne wife ni nuaba beba betena ne ho. No nso anopa we free nkola ne we jan nkola na ma obi a na ono aba because obesan so akosku akotra ade inti ono nso beba wo ya na wakosku akotra ade na ne wife inti eye shift na no more rane inti anopa e wo se wo kono na trese the sister-in-law friend say doctors for no per se ehun sisi a etie for doctors for call ye or call ya doctors for e per se ehun no yentie or say I am on my way. I lied. I hurriedly jumped into a crumpled jeans and an old Lacoste. I did not bath. I did not brush my teeth. I don't know how I drove to Ridge Hospital. My wife died at 11 p.m. last night, 3 hours after I left her. A lady in the ward told me she collapsed and died just like that. By the way, my sister-in-law told me that when she got to the ward this morning, she overheard doctors and nurses arguing over wrong medication. I am not angry. I am sad, deeply sad, indescribably sad. Folks, let's be clear. I have no evidence that the wrong medication killed my wife. I have requested for an autopsy. I also appreciate the effort made by some of the nurses to save the life of my wife. One particular nurse was very kind to me, and I pray God's blessing on her. What I cannot accept, and why I am writing this, is the health workers find it funny that the wrong medication had apparently been administered to my wife. They were laughing. It was a joke. My wife's life was a joke. Hey, on my team, Ghana, but papa no wakasa ye. What's one no there on your medical doctor and won't to me interest a wrong medication, but from what he heard, doctor no and this doctor no dear drone man no the conversation any a nurse's phone so in someone no more can clearly it shows that say a wrong medication, but or no request for autopsy. Now, you said this is not the first time I will is here. So you see a lines na magana for Sebi, womodishi ewu due to negligence and wrong medication. Nko mind we bebo. Won't try